I was sat in like led in bed one day, and I was just like thinking about like AZ's Float specifically, and thinking that kind of sounds like a Paradox Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie, because like whenever they name like past Paradox Pokemon, it's always 2 words, right? It's always like Flutter Mane, you know, the rest of them, right? And I was like AZ's Float, and I was like Eternal Flower, and I was like, wait a minute, that sounds very. And then I was like AZ. Area 0. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. It's all wait, hold on a second. So I did a whole video. I did a whole video about it. Talked about the landmass in the northeast of like Paldea.
Yes, dude. This is. Yeah.
And I was sat there, and I made a whole video on it. And I remember because I said to Toby about it at the time. I was like, I don't make videos like this, but it all came to mind so quickly that I was like, right, I have to do this because I have these like these branching thoughts like fireworks.
What's the attack called? What's the attack called?
Light of Ruin.
Right.
Like Ruin, and you've got the Ruinous Quartet, same generation. Like that all came together really nicely.
Here we go. We're cooking.
Yeah, and all the trainers up there have like the X and Y like legend or the dragon types or pseudo legendary stuff like that, right? That they have up there.
And you were talking about like I think the fact that like Screamtail, for example, we know that Jigglypuff evolves into Wigglytuff, but Screamtail does not evolve into something. Yeah. And in the same way, AZ's Float, we've never seen AZ's Floor, just kind of fits in that same bubble of like that kind of Pokemon.
And while it's not like a Pokemon from like the future that shouldn't exist or from the past that shouldn't exist, in the same vein, it's a Pokemon that died. That came back in its own right shouldn't exist, right? So then in of itself is a Paradox Pokemon.
And then
you're speaking my language. I feel like I've been yelling about that. I think there's a lot more
and like
Blood Moon type Pokemon
stats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And Lumi you did a video on this. This is one of my favorite videos that you've done. Is the connection between Paradox Pokemon and Mega Evolution generally?
Yeah,
so like
that's I'm most proud of that video.
Mega Salamander. Would you want to explain it? You should explain it.
Yeah, sure. So basically, if you look at Roaring Moon, it obviously looks very similar to Mega Salamence. This was intentional. They even point out in the decks that like, it looks similar to like a phenomenon in another region. And when you look at Mega Evolution, you see that it's all tied to DNA. Like that's even the symbol is the DNA symbol. So the idea is that if Roaring Moon is like a past version of Salamence, then Salamence, when it Mega Evolves, it's tapping into latent DNA, that Roaring Moon DNA that's still in it, to evolve itself further, which is why Mega Salamence looks so similar to Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon.
And then did that not also then, to support that, I believe you mentioned that Mega Aerodactyl's Pokedex entries talk about that it being a sort of more true form that it would have looked like in ancient times, which totally makes sense. Pretty cool. Really cool stuff.
Comes together.
So it all comes together.
It always does.
This is something I found today, and this is really interesting, is the locations around Lumiose City and ZA are the numbered areas, right? And the numbered areas, guys, like numbered areas. So at the very center, you're going to have area 0, which in this game will be Lumiose Tower. But like you've got these numbered areas all around the city where we're catching Pokemon, and in Paldea, it's also broken up into numbered areas.
I fear he may have cooked.
So I think there's some parallel there. I think of Lumiose Tower like this game's Area 0, whatever that means. Maybe rather than going down, we go up. Maybe there's something at the top instead of at the bottom, but it's all going to revolve around this, and I'm sure the source of mystical energy will be up there.
Yeah, and again, with AZ too, right? Like, it's again, it comes back. Why is it such a coincidence that we had a place called Area 0 that was so magical and whatever, right? And then we go to Kalos and there's a guy called AZ, and it's just like there has to be something going on
obvious,
there. And his age as well, and like all the infinity energy and all the all the stuff around. It's just like this. I knew there was something there. So when there's something like when they started like bringing out like ZA was coming out and stuff, like oh my god, it was just like electric for me because I was like I knew something was happening. Like I'm behind 100%. The scenes.
It is all technically under the umbrella of Gen 9, at least in our world, in our canon. I don't know if it works that way for Game Freak, but to us, this is a Gen 9 game, so it's
this
could be connected to.
This will have been being thought about alongside the likes of Scarlet and Violet. Like I think that Legends Arceus and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl there are a lot of things that like tie into Sword and Shield and a lot of the Galar stuff. This feels to have a lot that ties into that. So I think the Gen 10 will be like a fresh kind of cut. But numbered areas.
Yeah.
I was pretty convinced as well. During my reaction, I was, because we saw like, before the stream, I was talking about something. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, I have a funny feeling that there's going to be some weird Paldea tie-in with Kalos. And I was like, I am pretty sure that we are going to get the terrestrial phenomenon and megas at the same time. And even my stream, they revealed the Mega Lucario EX TCG set. And I was like, they're going to have terrestrialized cards and they're going to have Mega Evolution cards. And I was like, they're going to coexist. And then obviously we got the champions reveal, and there was a terrestrialized Dondozo fighting against the Mega Evolved Charizard. And I didn't notice it at the time because I was freaking out about the game. Then at the end of like the ZA trailer, we get that weird like call for like the Pokemon exhibition or whatever it is. And that was like to me because it was the same phone call sound effect that you get when you like when Cassiopeia calls you in like Scarlet and Violet. And I was like, is there some connection with this landmass? I'm sorry, the landmass is really important to me. There's the landmass.
I think the landmass.
I'm with you.
Landmass has been something forever. I actually felt stupid when we got DLC that had nothing to do with that landmass.
Yes, so that's how I felt because I made my video and then it didn't. Yes. So I made my video and then nothing that came of it, right? But now I believe that at the end of like that trailer, at the end of Legends EA, you get that weird phone call. It comes up and then you get the Prism Tower with a Pokeball on top of it. Yeah. And it's like, is that somebody in Paldea? Because obviously we went to Unova for the Blueberry Academy.
Oh my God.
Is it going to be the case where you go to the northeast of Paldea, southwest of Kalos, and you meet somebody and a train station is there, and you go to this tournament somewhere, and you can Mega Evolve and terrestrialize in Scarvy? I'm just saying. I'm like the corkboard, the red ticker tape.
Right.
Something's going
That makes
on.
too much sense. I didn't even think that we could actually just like. Yeah, just like in Scarlet and Violet, we just hop on a plane and fast travel to any location they want to give us. And it would only make sense for us to go back to that landmass.
You think about the competitive cycle of Pokemon, right? If they bring Megas in ZA, there's not going to be a battle system in ZA that's going to work with the traditional Pokemon format. So they might need to bring Megas into Scarvy, and then the next Worlds thing is going to be Megas and terrestrialization in the Worlds competition.
Oh my God, dude.